Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're here with Mr. Roderick MacNeal Jr., the new Assistant Superintendent here at the Arlington Public Schools. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, I was an elementary school teacher I started in 1996. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in my life, and so I started substitute teaching, and I decided I wanted to go back to school, and I got my teacher certification in elementary education and early childhood development at Wayne State University, which is a local university in Detroit. And so I started teaching, and my first teaching job was third grade, and I was just fell in love with the interactions with the kids and providing instruction for them, not only through academics, but also helping with their social and emotional learning development. And so there was a job in another school district that I applied for a K-5 principal position, and I was awarded. I was lucky enough again to receive that position. And I was there for about 3 years, and we were doing some really great things, and they actually, my school was closed due to decreasing enrollment. And they were consolidating on that side of the town. They were consolidating 3 schools down to 2. But and initially, I didn't know whether or not I was going to have a job. So I sent my resume out through various search engines, and I got a call back from Needham. You know, I went through the interview process there, and that's what brought me to Massachusetts, of course, with the blessing of my wife. And so I was there for about 4 years. We did some great things, and when I left, we were fortunate enough to achieve the level 1 status, DESE status, and named to the state accommodation list. And then I saw this position. And you know, I was attracted to it because of the diversity in Arlington and the way that the population of Arlington is growing. And I also was very, I developed a relationship with Dr. Bodie, the superintendent. We had many great conversations, and I was fortunate enough to get the position, and now I'm so happy to be here. You never know what's going to happen when you put your resume out there, and so I was very fortunate to end up in Massachusetts. My kids have acclimated very nicely to the environment, and it's safe, and the parks. The one thing that I'm really impressed about, just the local parks that are available in each one of the towns. It's just amazing. All the public recreation facilities that are available that don't cost anything. So I'm so happy to be here.
A lot of educators struggle with the transition from the classroom to the principal's office. It sounds like you're very comfortable moving back and forth between those two. To what do you attribute that?
I think my love of instruction, classroom instruction, really kept me connected with the kids, and with that emphasis on trying to find different formats that will meet many different learning styles. That's something that I always held as a priority for me. And so even when I became was appointed to an administrative position, I still kept that connection by visiting classrooms. And I think that's very important, especially in the position that I'm in now. If I'm going to impact instruction on a district-wide level, I'm going to need to keep that pace of visiting schools, and I've already had conversations with Dr. Bodie about, making that a priority in my schedule, especially in my first year.
Sure, to get comfortable with where all the schools are, what the personalities of each school
and learning the culture of the district, and I want teachers to know me by name. And again, when I walk into their classroom, I don't want it to be, the assistant superintendent is. I want them to feel like, I'm there to support them and to listen to them and observe them, and that will help my my learning process as I find out what the needs and the priorities are for the district.
And that's why we're have you here today, so that you can get to know the faces of Arlington.
Absolutely.
And Arlington can get to know your face.
Absolutely.
So be careful. Everyone's going to know you now.
Absolutely.
You mentioned your children. You have a pretty busy life right now.
I do.
I think you've got 3 young girls.
Yes.
One in her teens now.
Yes.
So that's going to keep you busy. You've got a new job, and you're getting a doctorate at Boston College.
I am.
Tell us about the doctorate and what your focus is.
So, I was attracted to the program at BC, at Boston College, because of their emphasis on social justice, and also because it caters to a working professional in the educational field. So the name of the program is the PSAP program, for Professional School Administrators program. And it allows you to get your Assistant Superintendent and Superintendent license, as well as obtaining a doctorate in educational leadership, so it's an EDD. And so I've learned a lot. It's a cohort model, so I work with other educators who are in leadership positions, and that's been very nice because it gives me an opportunity to look at various issues from different perspectives and to really build my repertoire of strategies for dealing with certain situations. And it's courses that are taught by active superintendents, former superintendents, assistant superintendents. So you're also able to share practice with people who are actually in the field. And so it's been great.
And finally, what are you looking forward to the most when the school doors open in September?
Just getting into classrooms and seeing instruction and seeing the kids and making those connections with parents. I want parents to know me by name. I want to have a presence within the schools, and I want people to be able to use me as a resource if they need something. And I would just want to build that bridge and that connection between central office, and not that it's not already here in Arlington. That's one of the things that attracted me to Arlington, is because of the focus on instruction and providing the tools that teachers can utilize in the classroom, again, to meet all different learning levels. And I have to back up. I have to make sure that I mention my wife. When you ask me how do I manage all the craziness, we're lucky enough that she's able to stay home. And so she's a big support and a big reason that I'm able to do the things that I'm able to do.
And how about those three girls? Do they give you, do you go to them and say, I've been thinking about this happening in the middle schools. What do you think about that? Do you pick their brains?
Absolutely. When I first moved to Massachusetts, I was the principal of the John Elliott School in Needham, and my oldest daughter was just going into 5th grade, so she actually went to my school.
Oh.
And my middle child, who was, eventually moved into kindergarten, she also went to my school for kindergarten and 1st grade. So they would come home and give me feedback. And so, and that would help me make some.
I bet it was very honest feedback.
It was very honest feedback. Sometimes I had to sit there and just listen, but it was helpful. And I think you bring up a good point. A large part, I've talked about parents, I've talked about students and working with other faculty members, but I think also getting that feedback from students is also very helpful. And that's a connection. I think that's going to be a huge focus of my job as well.
We are happy to have you here and happy to have you going into the
classrooms.
Thank you very
much.
Listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity.